Hello and welcome to Prelaunch Devlog number 11 for Windfall, the sailing game. This week I am finally starting to work on the gameplay. So the core physics are done, or at least as close to being done as I can stomach right now. And I really want to make sure this game is interesting to play. So one thing that I've been working on is making sure that, right now when you sail or when you create a boat, what happens is that it just kind of appears and then it can get away from you. So what I added is anchor lines. So if I hit and create a new boat, you can see that there's these little horn cleats here. And what they do is they keep the boat real close to the dock. Normally there'd be bumpers here if you're in a real sailing boat, but this sailing boat is invincible. So you can see that they're kind of tied up a little bit janky. I'm probably going to eventually get them to wrap around when I do a bit more work on that, but I really want to get this game out. And I think that's going to have to do for now. The other thing that you'll notice is that on my boat, it's now spawning with the sails retracted. They're kind of flopping through the mast, but you know what? It's good enough. Eventually, it'll have a little bit nicer of a nicer like folding pattern, and the front sail will actually furl into itself where it rolls into the front mainstay. But for now, is good because it's not actually giving the boat any power. It's not drifting sideways, which is good. So next thing we do is we get on the boat, and I've added a few more controls. So right now I'm on the boat, floating back and forth. One thing I need to do to get the boat going, because these lines will keep the boat from floating away, is I have to undock. Now I've got these two little icons here, and right now they are not working very well, so I'm going to probably change them. But if you put this down, actually what happens is that it undocks the lines, and they suck themselves back into the boat. You can see I'm now free floating. I'm getting blown a little bit over because the wind, as you can see from the arrow up there, is coming from that side. Not moving too much just because there's not a whole lot of pressure on the boat right now, even though, well, there's no pressure because the sails aren't up. So yeah, if I actually put that on again, it'll reattach. Let's see if that works. Yeah, reattach the back one because it was out of range of the front one. You can see it's attached now, and if I start floating away, it'll pull me back in. So let's do that one more time. Just undo that. Goes in. I was thinking about actually getting real lines where you like grab them, jump off, and like wrap them around, but at some point it's got to be a game and not just a crazy good simulator. The other thing that I've added is a boat engine. So if I flip on the boat engine, you can hear it. Do you hear it? It's very quiet. And then what we do is we put it into gear. You can hear it going now. It's based off of the diesel engine on my boat, and it starts pushing you along. This is a pretty important part because, there might not always be wind, or you might be stuck somewhere and you need an engine to get away. I'm thinking about adding some gameplay, and let me know what you think of. You have to go around and collect fuel to fuel up the engine, but fuel runs out very quickly. You've got a very small gas tank, so the more that you use it, the less you are able to fly it on. A few other things, just getting back to the game. I've got the highlighter working now again, so if you go over here, it just tells you that you can grab it. I don't think it's on the book. No, it's not on these things yet. So there we go. Now the next thing is, now that we're going along, probably about 2 or 3 knots. Normally, if you're sailing, you would start moving along so the boat's got some momentum, and then what you do is you would extend the sails. Now normally you'd have to like crank them up in a real boat, but here we got a handy switch, so I flip that up and the sails extend out. Yay, sails are extended. So now you can see that sail is luffing because the wind's coming right at it, and what you want to do is grab it and pull it in. Once we get pulled all the way in, click it in there. This one's like hanging down. Doesn't look very nice. So I'll pull that in a bit. There we go. And now I'm actually getting engine, and what's this is called motor sailing. So I'm going without the with the engine and the sails. So I'll just bring the engine back and then turn that off. And now I'm sailing. So yeah, I've kind of got the actual sort of experience of getting out to sea and sailing. You don't necessarily have to watch a sailboat fly away from you and then actually get the sails going. The other cool thing is that you can, you decide that you don't want to sail anymore. It's pretty easy to reverse that, flip that down, goes there. The cleat automatically releases so that it doesn't overstretch these lines. And then now you're back to normal. This thing has to tie in though. Pull that in there. There we go. Now I'm back to motorboating. All right, I've got a sort of an idea that I'm going to talk about when I jump out. So let's go talk about that now.
So now I'm really trying to scrape my brain and figure out what kind of game modes I should have in the game, because creating a simulation game, the only other simulation games I can think of that are fairly similar are like Gran Turismo. And in Gran Turismo, it's basically just always racing around. Other simulation games like flight simulators are like taking off and landing, but there is a lot of downtime, and I really want to have a game aspect to the game. So some of the things I've thought of have been finding and collecting things, finding like artifacts and like piecing them together in some VR sense, which would be cool from like a UX perspective. Maybe going around and finding lighthouses and lighting them up, and or maybe like finding maps or finding bottles and grabbing them. I kind of like to get some information of what you'd like to see out of this game, because it'd be good to understand what you would love to see in the game. So I'm really focused on making it a great simulation, but I want to add a game, like a reason to come back to the game and sort of like purpose to go somewhere, because just giving you an open world to do whatever you want might be good for some people, but other people might want more of a focus. Which brings me to the next really big thing, and I've been sort of grappling with this for the last 2 weeks. In the last devlog, one guy, I can't remember his name off the bat, but I'll put it in the comments. He said that, don't wait around for multiplayer, because I think that was the next thing I was going to do. And that got me thinking of like, do I really need to release this on day one from a multiplayer point of view? And the issue with multiplayer is not the networking, because I'm pretty experienced in that, and I think I'm pretty close to having the networking done. But the problem is the simulation for more than one boat takes a lot of processing power. So like for every rope, it takes about a millisecond to like calculate all the ropes, because you've seen them land and go all over the place. It takes a millisecond to calculate the floating stuff, and it takes about a millisecond to do the sail. And that's fine, because you're trying to get everything calculated in less than 11 milliseconds. But if I add another 2 or 3 boats, it's going to stop any of that happening. So you can create a boat and bring someone else in, but it's going to be really slow on your computer. And in order to fix that problem, which I think there's a solution, I'll need to do a lot more work. So I was wondering, do you think that I need to get multiplayer in at launch, or do you think it's something that I could do a month or 2 after launch? Because effectively I want to get the game tested, working really well on single player, and then as soon as it launches, the only thing I'll be working on is making it multiplayer ready. And I kind of thought back, and Minecraft did this. They launched a single player, and then the multiplayer is very janky, and then eventually it got around. So if you can leave a comment below in either YouTube or Reddit what you think about this, I might make a poll and post it. We'll see about that. But I just want to get some people's feedback. People are really angry, and like, if this game doesn't launch with multiplayer, I'm never buying it. That would definitely push me to get multiplayer in there. The game will have multiplayer. It's just, should I release it beforehand? Because it's going to take a lot more work and just time. So, and this game's been going on forever. Yeah, and so then I think that's really the only question I had of you guys this week. So I am going to sign off now. If you are interested in the game, please go to sailwindfall.com and sign up for the newsletter. I'm going to send a newsletter out regularly, and also wishlist this on Steam. You can go to the Steam link. I think I'll put it below, because the more people are on the wish list, the more it motivates me to be like, oh, a lot of people are interested in it. And I will see you in a next devlog. Bye.